So, I'm Jessica Butt.
I'm Robert Weston.
We're looking at theatre of the oppression and prison theatre for our presentation. So to begin with, theatre of the oppressed is an aspect of theatre that breaks the fourth wall completely. It allows the audience to jump at the situation if they feel like necessary and change the outcome or completely make an entirely new situation. It can be in outdoor performances, and it's commonly in exercises in theatre performances, as well as exercises to warm up and icebreakers. It was started in the 70s by Augusto Boal. He started the idea and the system for theatre of oppression, or theatre of the oppressed. He wanted to put a new spin on the aspect of theatre and what actors could do in theatre, as well, it was already established on what actors would mainly do in performance, and there wasn't really anything new going on at the time, nothing else had happened, so he thought he could put his distinct little mark on performing arts and created theatre of the oppression, which completely breaks the fourth wall. And after this, he'd been influenced by the educator and theorist Paulo Freire, but he got banned from Brazil for several years because of the backlash from theatre of oppressed. The impact theatre of oppression's had on the community of performing arts has been massive. It's went from just starting in Brazil to going worldwide and being a widely known thing and studying it in presentations and etc. Even some of the general public knows about it even without being taught about it, because it's become such a well-known thing. Like when I was talking to my parents, they even knew I was on about it, and they've never studied theatre before. So another thing Augusto Boal created was spectactors, which he created the term for, calling spectators, who are also actors within the performance. They can range from being within the performance themselves and also jumping in and creating new situations like I talked about before. And it was a unique aspect of acting that involved the audience and the actors within the same performance that hadn't been done before. So my opinion on theatre of oppression is I like the idea of theatre oppression, but I feel like it's mainly just serves a purpose within exercises in theatre and isn't something that's commonly seen within actual performances. It's good for icebreakers, but I feel like it's not really the best for performance.
In my opinion, personally, I feel like it's an extremely amazing type of theatre because of what it can do and what different stories, and how it can have many opportunities to improvise different types of scenarios and different types of stories, and just have many different experiences with what people's been through. Prison theatre, it's a number of different performance and drama using different environments and stories based around prison and crime and different stuff like that. And it is also known as an alternative response to crime, and some prisoners have been reflected and looked upon all these different performances and actions that they've done in their lives, and could even, however, could take many risks doing these performances, like riots, jailbreaks and violence, etc. The founders of prison theatre were James Thompson and Paul Heritage, as it started in 1992 by the two university students, and they originally wanted to create this as a university piece to see what it was like and how they could change prisoners and prison life. And ever since then, Paul Heritage is currently a professor at Queen Mary University of London, and James Thompson, whilst been publishing books based on prison fear and the experiences. Examples of different companies who reflect on this idea are Open Class, which has been an award-winning women's theatre group who's made different performances, like Just Starring Women, who have done this type of theatre and used prison theatre to show different types of emotion and different performance types about what it's like in prison and how it matters and how they can have their own voice to express how they feel about the whole situation of prison theatre and prisons alike. Another theatre company that uses this idea is Geese Theatre Company, where it's a company that uses the idea of prison theatre in the past to show off the different effects that prison may have had, just like Open Class. It also uses mirror actions and shows different types of performances that go towards prison theatre as well. But normally their performances have a large amount of people acting at once and in different sections, so it all comes together into one big performance in the end, so it all comes together, so different stories could co-align together about prison theatre. The themes of prison theatre have a lot of different themes. Usually it's a more dramatic and more serious tone, but there can be other times where it's a lighter, more comedic tone, like the sitcom Porridge, where it's based around a prison environment, and however it shows a lot more comedy skit while being in a very dark and dangerous environment at the same time. Socially, the view on prison theatre can be really good, however there's mixed opinions about what it can do, but it can also be a rehabilitation for the prisoners and what they can reflect on viewing this and what it can do for them if they're struggling or if they have mental issues or anything like that. They can look at this and think that they can change and be brought into a civilized world and be given an opportunity to start it over. Personally, I think prison theatre is a really good idea to change how different people can reflect on what they've done. However, it can be really dangerous, and because prison is full of really bad and horrible different types of people who have done really bad things in the past. So it would be a good idea, but they would definitely have to take a precaution.
Yeah, I completely agree with Robert, where I think it can be really risky for civilians and actors to be put in that environment and perform. But I think if the security level's good and it can bring down the risk massively, I feel like it could be really good therapy for the prisoners, as well as like potentially rehabilitating them for the better in the future, for when they come out of prison, if they come out of prison. And that's the end.